guys, what's up? FreeMMOStation. Today we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna play some Badland Bandits. Yep, this game is going to be pretty good. I think going to be pretty good. Currently in its current state though, it's kind of just okay. I can definitely see why it has mixed reviews. But we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into it.
FreeMMOStation.com.
So, Badland Bandits is a vehicle combat game, and I think the best, quickest, and probably the most clear way to really describe it is saying that it's Twisted Metal meets World of Tanks. If you combine those two games, you really get Badland Bandits. Okay, so real quick, what you're going to see on the screen here is a cel-shaded or at least an inked game. What this means is that there is a black outline around all the objects in the game. This makes it really clear and concise where entities exist on the map. I think this is actually really important. I think more games need to do this. For instance, League of Legends, Borderlands use this, and more appropriately, I guess you could say cel-shading is pretty much completely comprised of this technique. However, it doesn't need to be cel-shaded to be inked. I mean, it could just have an inking around it. I think it is just inked. It looks a little bit more harsh than what we're used to for cel-shading. Cel-shading is normally very clean, almost like Team Fortress 2-esque. You see this a lot in anime games, so it kind of really brings around like a 2D kind of look, but at the same time everything pops out. Anyways, Badland Bandits just has an inking around it, and I think it's a very distinct art style. It really reminds me of Borderlands, but not quite as clean, but it's still kind of in that gritty art style-ish. Not quite cel-shaded, but not quite anything else. So I really like it, and I think that's a really cool thing. However, I really hate the UI design. I don't really like that at all. It really reminds me of old World of Tanks, you know, like that just kind of old 2000s, 1990s kind of UI design. It seems really cluttered, and also the tutorial messages that pop up are super annoying, by the way, guys. That's completely unnecessary. But Badland Bandits is essentially a vehicular combat game completely compromised around the game type of capture points. That's pretty much it. All the maps have 5 points to capture, A through E, and the more you capture, the more bonuses you get, which will help you toward victory. I'm not exactly completely sure what those bonuses are. I just kind of wrecked face and got wrecked in like a few games because the matchmaking isn't quite elegant, really, in the least. It's not really accurate because there's not really many people playing it. So I didn't really get a full chance to divulge this game's multiplayer aspect, or really any much of the game's mechanics, truly, you know, in its fairness. You know, I don't know what guns are good. I didn't really even level up that much because I couldn't find many games. So yeah, for a first impression, not really given a really great first impression of its community. Be it maybe it's just totally new, but even new games, you know, sometimes have pretty good communities, at least some people playing the game. It was pretty quick to find matches, I guess, but they weren't really populated, so I'm unsure what's going on there, if that was their matchmaking algorithm, or if it's just really that there's just like nobody playing except for like 3 people that I kept playing with over and over again. I'm unsure. Anyways, Badland Bandits has some pretty cool maps. At least I got to play a couple maps. They were pretty interesting, and it definitely does remind me of Twisted Metal. The maps are kind of like comical. Like there's freaking teleporters. There's a volcano in one map that shoots like magma or lava at you. It rains down little cannon shots, rocket things. It's crazy. So yeah, I mean, it's really ridiculous. It's not going to be like World of Tanks, all strategic and stuff. But it is like World of Tanks in a sense that you do have your different vehicles that you can customize. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Now, what I think makes it really awesome and really more in tune with Twisted Metal again is that unlike World of Tanks, which has RNG and it has like fake projectiles, they don't actually exist physically. This game actually does have real-time aiming. It really has real-time bullet projectiles and stuff like that. So if there's somebody in the air flying, which by the way is something that you can have flying freaking vehicles, so kind of similar to Robocraft, you can actually shoot a rocket. That rocket actually travels through space and fucking time. And if you hit them accurately because you're a good shot, you're a good shooter, you are rewarded for that, and they explode and die. It's pretty freaking cool. So honestly, there's not too many skill shot vehicle games, except for like Twisted Metal back in the day, but now we have Gear Up, and to a lesser extent we have Robocraft, but mostly the market's kind of dominated by these RNG and strategic vehicle shooters, which makes sense, you know. It does. They're good games. They're not bad games. I'm just saying, you know, there's a differentiation between the genre, okay? You have World of Tanks, World of Warships, we have War Thunder, but Badland Bandits is not like those games, other than like the whole equipping sense. It's really more kind of like a Twisted Metal thing going on. So if you like games like Vigilante 8, Twisted Metal, and like the new free-to-play Gear Up, you are gonna like Badland Bandits. So it seems like you can actually have some different kind of skins or like chassis for your different classes of vehicle. I only got to see a few, but it seems like you do have at least one flying vehicle, and then you have more of a faster car type, and then you have the Cerberus, which I think is a little bit more beefy, and these all have like potential weapons that they can equip. So they're kind of like classes, really. I didn't get to see too many different kinds of vehicles, and I didn't really get to experiment with any of the different weapons, so I can't say if there's something like super awesome and unique, like you could play kind of like a sniper class or something like that. I don't know. All I do know is that there is the absolute potential for it because of its mechanisms, because of its mechanics and physics. So yeah, right now I can totally see that it lacks some polish. I'll be honest, this is the only game in like my 2 years of playing games professionally that blue screened my machine. Now, I've had games freeze my machine, but to actually blue screen it, I don't know. Maybe that was because of Badland Bandits, maybe not, but it's probably because of Badland Bandits. It might have been a freak accident, who knows, but I'm just saying. It also ran a little bit lesser to what I would want. There were some frame hiccups, but for the most part, I mean, it ran very well, and I do like the art design, and I think that art design kind of lends itself to run very well while still looking stylistic. You know I like the whole cartoon kind of thing going on, guys. I like something that looks very original, and it kind of does. I mean, it kind of looks like Borderlands, but for a free-to-play, it looks pretty freaking original, especially compared to other shooter games. RoboCraft, Gear Up, Badland Bandits definitely looks different. But at the same time, you know, my pre-impressions and my first impressions, I have to say that I really do not like some of the design of the game. Like the UI, it's just really ugly. It's not fun to navigate. I just really wholly hate it. Definitely a more minimalistic thing. I mean, in a lot of free-to-play games now, especially MOBA games like Smite, like League of Legends, and Dota 2, you see these companies, which are already very successful. They don't need to update their UI, but having a clean and new UI that's very easily navigated is so important that these companies within a year have reinvented their UIs, all three of them, over and over again. So yeah, Badland Bandits, I think that's something that you should look at. I hate your UI. It really looks like old World of Tanks. So, where it stands right now, it truly is kind of like a, you know, it's a mediocre game. It's kind of unique. It is free to play, so it is worth trying. It could be fun, you know, to jump in with some friends, but the potential for this game is really good. I definitely want to look forward to it. I like RoboCraft. You know, I love RoboCraft, okay? So I like the whole customizing vehicles and going out and doing combat. Same thing with Gear Up. Badland Bandits, though, you can have some really unique vehicles, right? However, it's kind of dependent on the developer to make them. In RoboCraft, players can craft their, you know, gear and stuff. But in Badland Bandits, you can't. So developers, we need some really creative and awesome, unique vehicles coming out, and so that we can spend money and buy those or whatever, I don't know, and some cool skins and stuff. That'd be pretty awesome too. But yeah, I just want a little bit more flavor, okay? But then again, I am a level 1. I didn't get to see the full extent of the game. I think everyone just had like one flyer, and then everyone else just kind of used the Cerberus. So I don't know. That's just my first impressions, guys. Tell me what you think. Go ahead and try Badland Bandits if you get the chance. I think it's worth trying, but I'm not gonna go ahead and say that it's like the best game ever or even a good game. It's just okay. It truly is okay with a lot of potential. It really does have a lot of potential. But that's all I'm gonna say. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Skylight Shore with FreeMMOStation. We give you the content of free online multiplayer games. That's what we're here for, so like and subscribe for that. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.